Hi, I'm Landscaper, and this is the Wannabe Composer series. Coffee. Love a bit of coffee in the morning, right? Love the smell of coffee in the morning. Terrible, I know. So I've been working on the Sweet Science of Bruising, which is a theatre production going on in southeast London. And this is the opening kind of scene, if you like. That is precisely what it is. I've sent it off to the director now. She's happy with it. So I thought I'd just run you through it. So the initial idea is that one of the characters, who's the kind of ringmaster, he's a professor, is a gay man in Victorian London, in the Victorian era, which is a little tricky for him. But anyway, that's another side to his character. We'll get into that some other time. This initial bit is him basically opening the show, and he's talking a little bit about his life, his history, that he was a sickly child, really wanted to be engaged in the fisticuffs that were going on around his house, but couldn't. But you get the impression that he's coming across as if he needs a walking cane and that he can't breathe too well and that kind of thing. But you get the impression that perhaps that's part of the act. Anyway, so the initial bit, what I had in my head, I kind of wanted a kind of almost like the orchestra's tuning up. I probably need to go into a bit more description first. I forget, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but I've obviously been in this. So each different character, I have given an instrument as their kind of go-to. So when that character's on doing their thing, that will be the dominant instrument in the piece. There's four lady boxers, and they've each got their own. So over here, one's called Anna. I've still got a cough, as you may have noticed. One's called Anna. She's got a cello. One is called Polly. Polly's from the north, so I gave her some brass. I thought that was kind of appropriate. And there's another one called Matty. And Matty, I've had a stab at creating a kind of Victoriana piano. Really what I would love is, the one that Hans Zimmer created for Sherlock Holmes would be amazing. I don't have that, and I'm not Hans Zimmer, but I've kind of tried to create a slightly discordant honky-tonk Victorian piano for her. And then Violet, I've given woodwinds. The ringmaster himself is accordion and pipe organ. So really, the director wanted kind of circusy and kind of Victorian kind of instruments to be his kind of motif. So that's what I've kind of done. So in this track, as I say, so you've got this whole chunk running up to about here. This is the kind of sort of melancholy kind of start as the guy comes into the boxing ring, tells the audience about his life, and he does that just after a crowd. You hear a crowd cheer, it says in the stage directions. You hear a crowd cheer. As the cheering starts to go down, he then gets up, spotlight comes on, he starts to speak. So that's what I've got in this initial bit. So I'm going to play that to you just quickly first. So I've got a fair amount of reverb on the accordion, as you can kind of hear tailing off now. But it's quite a good little accordion synth that I found. I can't remember the name of it. That's bad, isn't it? Let's have a little look at it. if it loads. Here we are. Ah, yes. Okay, it's called Le Parisien. Le Parisien. Very effective. On the right hand, you got your single note as you would have, and on the left hand, you've obviously got the chords. A load of reverb on it, which you wouldn't usually have, but yeah, really good. Very impressed with the sound. Good samples. Now this initial bit I've started in 3/4 timing because I felt like when I listened to a lot of the kind of what we associate with Victorian music, waltzes, stuff like that, right? So 3/4 seemed to be applicable. However, when you get down a bit further, so this point here is where the tone changes. Now I like to put my little kind of memos to myself. So in this top section here, I've got some little markers where I put, fade, end, markers to just indicate where I feel like I need a tone change. What I'll do is I'll set the metronome, or not the metronome, sorry, I'll set the line going. So I work out the tempo I want to create the piece in, set the line going so it just plays with nothing happening, and then I read through the script. And as I'm reading through the script, I basically put a pause in if I feel like okay, a tone change should come in here, and then when I want the kind of piece to end, obviously I stop the track and I draw in my little end marker, which you probably can't see actually because it's too far over on the right. Let's move that over so you can see it. There. Okay, so I'll put a little end, so I know that's roughly where I want the track to fade out. And then I've got my other little markers in here just to tell me where to change the tone, or all the women come in at this point. So that's what I want to do. It's actually here. They all come in. And then fades out across there. So I've written all that before I've even started writing the piece, right? As a bit of a guide. Okay, so back to the track. So I have written in, so Cubase allows you to write in, you can add all sorts of different tracks, right? Which is very useful. So you can do audio, instrument, which is, any of your synths, plugins, whatever, etc, etc. I mean, this is all kind of fairly self-explanatory. Effects groups, blah blah blah, right? You can put in markers as well, I mean, which I should use rather than my markers, so I could actually just number them 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, but I don't. Anyway, so I've put in here a signature marker, which allows me basically to set it here, 3/4, waltzy all the way up to the point where I want to change, which is here. And this is where the other female boxers come in, so hence all their parts are starting at this point. And this point, the bit I wrote is 4/4. So you have got to be a little careful because the brain, obviously, if it gets used to 3/4 and then you switch to 4/4, can be a bit odd. So sometimes you might want to kind of leave a hang or leave something just to bridge that gap. Okay, so the second part of this, where the first fade happens, what I've done is I found... God damn it. I swear, every time I try and do videos, I'm ill at the moment. It's so boring. It's so boring. Anyway. Alright, so I recently purchased Omnisphere 3. I suspect that this pipe organ might be on all sorts, but anyway. But I found this organ. That's in your face, isn't it? That'll learn you some manners, right? Anyway, you know what a pipe organ is. So I've put in a bit of a change here. So you've got coming through, as he carries on the speech, it'll be the accordion and the pipe organ. And then it goes into a little pipe organ-y bit. And then here we come with the instruments. Changes to the 4/4. And Violet, who's the woodwind, is the only character left on stage at this point. So I'm fading out with her. So there you go. So that's my opening bit. The director's okay with it, which is great, which means that the kind of the premise, the style, she's very happy with, finding it nice and evocative. It's always difficult to visualize how it's going to work. I do tend to go down to rehearsals after a while, once I've got a few pieces together, so you can see how the actors actually deliver the lines. Are there any pauses that you hadn't really thought about or whatever? And then you can make minor kind of adjustments, but certainly for now, getting the base premise together is more important for me. And I also find that having ideally sort of relatively small, like 4-bar or 2-bar loops, it just allows you to be able to extend a piece or to be able to shrink a piece without really having to rewrite loads of bits. So I find that kind of an easier way to work at this stage. So we're going to crack on now. I'm going to start to read through the script again, and then hopefully go in and start the next piece, which I shall show you in a bit. All right, thanks.